Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Nilesh Selkar, 7545. Thanks for the suggestion, Nilesh Selkar. You asked, why does rust form? Rust, it's the slow, crunchy revenge metal takes for being left out in the rain. We've all seen it, the flaky orange crust on bike chains, fences, or that one car in every neighborhood that looks like it's been through 12 apocalypses. But what exactly is rust? Why does it pop up everywhere? And why does it act like it's auditioning for the role of metal dandruff? Let's peel back the layers of this rusty mystery right here on Explaining Everything. First things first, rust is not just dirt on metal. Nope, rust is a full-on chemical reaction. Specifically, it's iron oxide. And no, that's not a cool superhero name. It's the result of iron meeting oxygen and water in the worst group project of all time. Here's how it goes down. Iron atoms in your metal are basically chilling, minding their business. But then oxygen and water molecules show up and go, hey, let's rearrange your entire life. The oxygen grabs some of iron's electrons like a kleptomaniac raccoon, and water acts as the middleman, helping shuffle those electrons around. The end result? Your strong, shiny iron transforms into flaky, reddish iron oxide, the stuff we call rust. Think of it this way. Iron is the responsible roommate who pays rent on time. Oxygen is the friend who can't stop borrowing stuff without asking. And water is the enabler. Together, they ruin the apartment. So where does rust usually strike? Short answer, anywhere iron or steel meets moisture and air. Long answer, basically everywhere humans thought it was a good idea to build things with iron. Your car? Rust's favorite buffet. Bridges? Oh yeah, rust loves those. That trusty old lawn chair? Give it a few rainy days, and suddenly it looks like it belongs in an archaeological dig. The fun part is, rust doesn't form evenly. It's sneaky. One tiny scratch in a protective paint layer, and boom, rust finds its way in like it's got backstage passes. That's why one tiny spot on your car can balloon into a full-blown rust colony, spreading faster than gossip in a small town. And here's the kicker. Rust doesn't just sit there quietly. It actually creates cracks and pits, making it easier for water and oxygen to get deeper in. It's like metal acne that keeps coming back worse every time you touch it. Now, the big question, why does rust form? Why does iron have this tragic weakness? The truth is, iron doesn't really want to be pure metal in the first place. Nature actually prefers iron in its oxidized state, locked away in ores like hematite. Humans had to go through a whole industrial revolution to smelt that ore into shiny, strong iron. So when oxygen and water show up, they're basically saying, sorry, buddy, time to go back to your natural state. It's like nature's version of a reset button. Or like when your phone keeps forcing an update you didn't ask for. And let's be real, oxygen is everywhere. Water is everywhere. Iron is everywhere. It's the perfect love triangle. And unfortunately, the relationship status always ends in flaky. There's also a bit of science spice here. Salt water makes rusting go into overdrive. That's why ships, seaside fences, and beach bikes all look like they aged 50 years in 2 summers. The salt helps electrons move around more easily, basically turning rust formation into a speed run. So the why isn't just chemistry, it's inevitability. Iron and oxygen are destined to tango, and water is the DJ keeping the music going. Okay, so when does rust actually start forming? Trick question. Pretty much immediately once iron is exposed. The process can be microscopic at first, but it doesn't wait for a dramatic thunderstorm. Just a little humidity in the air, and rust gets to work like an unpaid intern with no sense of boundaries. That's why iron tools left in a damp basement get crusty after a season, or why that old swing set in the backyard looks like it's cosplaying as an artifact. Rust doesn't need much time. In fact, under the right conditions, moisture, oxygen, and maybe some salt, you can start seeing visible rust in days. Days. That's faster than me regretting a haircut. But while the first spots appear quickly, the long-term destruction is a slow burn. Rust never hurries, but it never stops either. It's patient, relentless, and oddly committed. Honestly, if rust were a person, it'd be the clingiest ex ever. It's chemistry's version of a bad romance. Oxygen steals electrons, water plays matchmaker, and iron ends up flaky and brittle. Rust pops up anywhere iron meets the elements. It shows up faster than you'd think, and it's basically nature's way of saying, hey, stop trying to make pure iron happen. It's not natural. Next time you see rust on a car, a fence, or that bike you swore you'd fix up last summer, remember? It's not just decay. It's science doing what science does best, being annoying, unstoppable, and just a little bit funny. And that's the rusty truth. If you learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep those questions coming. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.